Hi everyone, it's Kevin here. Just going to walk you guys through how to do some of the Git operations now that we've switched our repository over to GitHub. Just a couple things to kind of keep in mind as we move along. It's a little different, so your patience is requested. So the first thing that you're going to need for this activity is to create a GitHub account. It's pretty simple to do. You're going to get something that looks, like this. Yeah, not really much to say about it. If you need help, I'm going to make these slides available. You can just go to this link here and it will walk you through if you need help. The next thing you want to do is add your SSH Public Key to GitHub. This allows Git to clone and do all the pushing and pulling and fetching without the need of a password. You can use HTTPS, but it's going to require a password at the end of the day, and typing that in is just one more thing to get in your way. So go to your little icon over here, go down to this menu, hit settings, and we're going to go to SSH and GPG keys. And then all you need to do is go onto your dev box, wherever that may be, and it's probably going to be in your home directory and look something like this. Just, print it out on the screen, copy it in its entirety, and again, this is your public key, not your private key. You're going to click new and paste it right here. And I think once you enter it, it'll give it an automatic title. But if you add the key, I already have mine added, but if you don't have anything there, feel free to add it. All right, so once you're done doing that, the next step then is to fork the Hubzero repository. So go to this link here. Going to look like this. I'm going to click fork here in the upper right hand corner. I have already forked it, as you can see, but it'll show up with your picture. You click it, you say yes, fork, and you will end up with something like this. And as you can see, it's under my name now, and it's forked from the main repository. So once that's done, the next thing you're going to want to do, this assumes that you have a new, hub installation, but this step here is kind of adding the remote. We are going to do one more step and change where origin is pointed to. So if we go to our, hub installation here, I'm just going to change back my repository to what it's going to look like on your dev machine. So give me a second here. I think I have remote. Okay. And then our origin, I'm going to set it back to what yours probably was. Remote URL origin getaway at hubzero.org. I believe it was like Hubzero CMS or something like that. So if you were to run a git remote -v, you'd probably look like that. We want to set origin to your forked copy, so let's go and do that. Git remote, can't spell it, git remote, set URL origin, git at github.com, colon your username. So I'm Kevin Wojo, you are someone else. Again, your username is like up over here. Whatever this is, that's what we're trying to get. Bring back terminal. I guess I can move this over here. Hubzero CMS. So should look like this now, and that should be groovy. And we want to receive the latest changes from upstream. So when Sean makes 1,000 commits and while we're still fiddling around with our one, we want to be able to pull in those changes. So let's go ahead and do that. Git and set our upstream. So git remote add upstream. And since we're just polling, you can just use HTTPS for this. Hubzero / Hubzero CMS git remote -v. Looks good to me, if it looks good to you. So a couple things to know. We're currently, I guess, master. We're currently on the master branch, and this is your local master branch, right? That's different from what is reflected on your forked copy of the repository and Hubzero's. So trying to keep those in sync might be a little challenge. The flow should be you're always pulling down the latest changes from upstream, and you push them to your forked copy, so origin, and then anything that origin has that upstream does not have, that's where you create a pull request. So let's go through a little example. The first thing I want to do is update my master branch here. So I'm going to do, let's just kind of take a look again. So the last commit I have was from Sean coming in today. Our clocks are all wrong on our dev boxes, so it came in today. So I guess, you know, if you want completeness, there's the hash. If you want to see that, fine. So I want to sync with, if I go to my GitHub over here, it says that I am 2 commits behind Hubzero master. So Hubzero master has 2 commits that I don't have on my forked copy. So let's get those there. So what I'm going to do, it's a little different than our flow before, but we do need to do a git fetch all, and that will grab all the commits and everything from both repositories. Okay, so I'm on my local branch, right? I'm on master git status, right? And I want to make it look like upstream. I want to make it look like Hubzero CMS. So what I'm going to do is do a git merge upstream master. So the name of the remote and the branch. I'm on the master branch, I want to merge with master. If I'm on 210, I want to merge with 210. So let's do master for right now. Wow, something happened. Looks like 2 files changed. And we can see now that my master branch is up to date with upstream master. However, my origin master, right, so my forked copy is still behind. So let's go ahead and do a git push origin master. And that will bring, my GitHub page up to date. So if I do a refresh here, we are now even with Hubzero master. And that's where we want to be. So once we're up to date, let's decide that we're going to make a change. And for the sake of argument, I'm just going to make an edit to the README file. Nothing really too horrendous, but this could be any file that is tracked in our repository. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to open up my trusty Vim, and let's add a space at 30. So if I do git diff, I added a space at the end. Git status shows that I've modified README. So I found that the easiest workflow is to do feature branches. So if I do, and basically what that means is I'm keeping the master branch always clean. And I'm basically using that as reference to my work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the git checkout command and give it the -b flag. That means it's going to create a branch at the current point. So if we go back, right, it's going to create a branch right here at this point. So git checkout -b, and we'll call this readme bug fix. Now, if you really are, wanting to do, what I'm trying to say is, creating these feature branches isn't one-to-one for each commit. I suggest maybe doing one pull request for the day, and merging that in. But let's say you're touching something in the projects component, and you're making multiple commits related to that projects component. That's probably a good logical break for making a branch. For the sake of argument, let's just do this. So one file modified, it's the same modification I made, and now we're on the README branch, and it's at the same point of where our master branch left off. So they're even right now, as far as we know, and we have the unstaged change still. So I'm gonna go ahead and commit that change. So git add README, git commit, demonstration. So now master and the README branch have diverged. The README bug fix branch now has my demonstration commit, whereas master does not. So what I'm going to do now is push that feature branch up to my repository. So git push origin README bug fix. So the cool thing is, I could be working on multiple things, leave them in different states, and always push to my origin, right? Always push to my repository. And then when I'm done doing that work, right? If I'm working on an involved ticket or a project of some sort, developing a feature, I can kind of logically group all these commits together and merge them in at the same time so they don't break our branch in our master repository. So if I go over here back to GitHub, you see now that there's a README bug fix branch. I think I have to refresh the page for the dropdown to reflect that. Right, there it is. I have a couple other ones of stuff that I've been working on, but we can get rid of those once I'm done doing my pull request. So let's say I've done with my feature and I want to merge it into core, so it gets distributed amongst all the hubs. Click new pull request, and I want to compare the base fork with my head fork, and I want to do the README bug fix branch. And we'll see that there's one commit here. It adds the space, right? This is exactly what I just did. And I'm going to click create pull request. Now here, it takes the default commit. It defaultly takes the commit message and turns it into the pull request title. You can add some more details here if you feel that you need to. But when you're ready, you hit create pull request. And this is going to leave some area for us to inject some linting and some code checks and hopefully Selenium tests. But right now it's kind of bare bones. I currently have the button, since I'm an owner of the repository, to rebase and merge. You, depending on your role, might not have that. So basically, the pull requests kind of collect here, right? From different users, for instance. I can filter by users, but we'll just go back. And let's say, Sean goes through and he says, okay, this looks good. You can, make comments and actually start a whole review process. We're not going to do that in this video, but that is going to be, that's kind of the idea of why we switched to GitHub. So at the end of the day, when someone does approve your change, they would hit this rebase and merge. And this is where we would have done it with our git pull rebase. So it's kind of transferred. The GitHub's now doing that and taking that away from us. So that's why we're going to be sticking to the merge and the update and keeping ours up to date. I can choose to delete this branch if I'm done with making my changes for this feature. You can do that. You can always restore it. I like to keep it clean. So when I go back to my, account here in repositories, I shouldn't have that branch listed anymore, which I don't want. I have another bug fix there, but need to clean that up. So now, because I merged my change in with master, right? With our master repository, we have a different history. So I want my branch to reflect that. So I'm going to go back here to my dev machine. I'm going to go to my master branch, or whatever branch you're working on. Again, this could be 2.0, and we'll do, I'll show how to update 2.0. What I'm going to do now is do another git fetch all, and that's going to grab the commit that I just, merged through the pull request. And I'm on my local master branch again, just so you can see that. And you can't see upstream master because it's actually a head, but we want our master branch to be even with that. So again, I'm going to do Git Merge upstream master, and that's going to grab my commit. You can see that the file has changed. And now my master branch is even with upstream master. Now one more time, I'm going to want to do a git push origin master to then sync my GitHub page. And once that's complete, maybe a little hot off the gun there. This branch is now even with Hubzero master. So a little bit to remember, I'll make a little cheat sheet and include that in this in the slides. Update, and kind of go through. I have a couple links here for how to do setting up your repositories and making your changes. It should be pretty simple. You've seen it happen here. You can do it too. So let's check out what our 2.1.0 branch looks like. This is the Hubzero one. It's diverged from master a little bit. What I want to see is my 2.1 branch, and it's 4 commits behind. So I again want that to be even. So I'm going to go to my 2.1.0 branch, 2.1.0. Okay, so my path did not, I don't think I have that branch. So if I do git branch, yeah, I don't have the 2.1.0 branch. So what I'm going to want to do is do a git checkout -b 2.1.0, and I want to create that with the same history as upstream 2.1.0. So again, it's a branch 2.1.0 is set up to track remote branch 2.1.0 from upstream. That's what we want. And it should be now, at the same level, right? At the same level with upstream master. My local branch is in sync with upstream master. However, my origin branch, right, is a little behind. It's 4 commits behind, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do a git push origin 2.1.0. Give it a little second. And it is now even with Hubzero 2.1.0. So it's not really too terrible. Now that you have it set up to do the tracking through upstream, I believe you can do a git pull. It's a little tricky sometimes. I would stick with the merge, only because it guarantees that things aren't going to get helter-skelter. It's a little bit more explicit than a pull and then a rebase, so stick with the merge. In case you're wondering, TIG is a little command line utility for visualizing the Git tree. I like it because you can kind of explore the different commits interactively. Maybe you should check it out. If not, well, fine. You can use whatever you want to use. So I just wanted to give you a brief kind of crash course on how to do this. It's not too terrible. Let me know if you do have questions. I'll hang out in the Slack channel and try to answer as many questions as possible. I'll get these slides posted shortly. I'm just going to put a couple finishing touches on them, and we should be good to go. So see you in a little bit.